How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the channel. We're going to be doing week 15 of my NFL predictions. And apologies in advance, I'm a little sick, so if the video doesn't sound the greatest, that's probably why. Last week was terrible. I went 6-8. That puts my current record at 137, 66, and 1. And if you're new to the channel, the Curse Wheel team is the Pittsburgh Steelers this week off of Brandon Perna's Curse Wheel channel, so stay tuned for that if you're new to that. And we'll get started with the Falcons and the Bucks. I have the Bucks winning 26-20, and the Falcons got pummeled by the Seahawks last week, and the Bucks, they got upset by the Saints last week. And both these teams, they're definitely not looking great at the moment. Falcons are actually, I believe, eliminated from playoff contention. Bucks obviously are not because they're winning the division right now. And, this is going to be an interesting game just because one of these teams needs to get something going, something good. And I think it's going to be the Bucks just because they're at home. They actually have shit to play for, trying to win that division title. So, give me the Bucks. All right, kicking off Sunday, we have the Browns taking on the Bears. I have the Bears winning this one 20-13. The Browns lost to the Titans of all teams last week, but Shedeur Sanders looked really good, so that's something. The Bears lost to the Packers last week, and Caleb Williams looked okay, not the greatest game, but I do think he will rebound. I don't think he'll have an amazing game because the Browns defense is actually really good. And they're going to look to get back on track after letting Cam Ward dice them up. And I'm going to go with the Bears in this one. All right, next up we have AFC North football between the Ravens and the Bengals. I'm actually going with the Bengals 23-17. Last week the Ravens dropped onto the Steelers because they just haven't looked like the Ravens this year. And the Bengals, they lost to the Bills. A lot of losers so far that we're talking about. But, I don't think either one of these teams is very good. But at least the Bengals have an offense. I will give them credit for that. Their offense has been playing really well. It's their defense that's been a problem, but I really don't think their defense is going to struggle that much against the Ravens offense because the Ravens offense has been in a bit of a slump this year, and that's partly because Lamar Jackson's been, injured, so that's fair. He's probably dealing with a lot of injuries. Derrick Henry's getting up there in age. A lot of things contributing to that, so because of that, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, next up we have the Cardinals taking on the Texans. I have the Texans winning this one 17-10. The Cardinals got pummeled last week by the Rams, and the Texans, who are the first winner of the video so far, were able to knock off the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. And Texans should easily win this one. The Cardinals, they show flashes, but they're not a good team, and the record, reflects that. The Texans, they're really starting to put pieces together, and I think they're going to be a very dangerous team come playoff time, and I don't think their defense is going to struggle too much against the Cardinals, so I'm going to take the Texans. All right, next up we have the Jets taking on the Jags. I have the Jags winning this one 23-20, and the Jets, they got blown out by the Dolphins last week. Tyrod Taylor got injured in that game, and the Jags, they were able to beat the Colts pretty handedly, and Duval, they own them there, and they're going to continue to. I believe that's like 12 years in a row now. 11 or 12 years, I'm not sure. But I'm picking the Jags regardless, and the reason I even have the score close is just because this is a potential trap game for the Jags, but at the same time, I'm not going to pick the Jets to win right now just because they're not playing very good, and I honestly don't even know who's going to be quarterbacking, whether it's going to be Tyrod Taylor or that one guy who's their backup is. I don't even remember his name, to be completely honest. But whoever the quarterback is, I'm going to be picking the Jags because they're just a good team and they're, starting to look really good on offense. So, we'll see if they can continue that, and I have them winning this game. All right, next up we have AFC West football between the Chargers and the Chiefs. I have the Chargers winning this one 21-14. The Chargers won an ugly game on Monday Night Football against the Eagles, and the Chiefs, they lost an ugly game on Sunday Night Football. And the crazy thing about this game is if this was like any other year that I've been doing this, I would literally pick the Chiefs just because it's the Chiefs and they always get it done. But this Chiefs team, genuinely looks bad. Like, there's no, like, oh, they're good, but they're not that good. They're not, like, even frauds. They're not, a team that wins ugly. They're just bad. I don't know how they're as bad as they are. I mean, I know it's a dynasty right now, and dynasties don't last forever, but, I mean, yeah, the fall off for the Chiefs, it's fallen fast in Kansas City. And the Chargers, they have been winning ugly lately, but I mean, wins are wins, and I think they're going to win this one and improve to 10-4 and make that AFC West a bit more tight. All right, next up we have an AFC East matchup between the Bills and the Patriots. I have the Patriots winning this one 30-27. The Bills were able to escape against the Cincinnati Bengals last week. Big part of Josh Allen. You can thank him for that. And the Patriots had a bye week last week. And yeah, this is a big game for the Patriots. If they can win this game, they will not only clinch a playoff berth, but they will also clinch the AFC East. So big game for the Patriots. I think they're going to win just because they're coming off their bye week and they're at home. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills won, but I'm just going with the team that's at home and just came off a bye week that's won 10 games in a row. So yeah, give me the Patriots to win this game along with the AFC East. All right, next up we have a game between the Commanders and Giants. I have the Giants winning this one 34-17. The Commanders got absolutely killed by the Vikings of all teams last week. That's pretty embarrassing. Giants had a bye week last week. So yeah, it's kind of funny. These two teams combined for 0 points last week. Giants obviously bye week. Commanders couldn't score a point. The Commanders are looking rough, and it just came out that Jaden Daniels, I can't talk today. Jaden Daniels will not be playing in this game. So yeah, that's not that I was going to pick the Commanders anyway, but the Giants, they're at home, and I know technically they have a worse record, but I'm not going to lie. I think that Jackson Dart is going to have a really good game against this bad Commanders defense. We'll see about that, and I have the Giants winning this game. All right, next up we have honestly one of the worst games of the week. It's the Raiders and Eagles. I have the Eagles winning 9-0. The Eagles lost an ugly game in overtime last week where Jalen Hurts looked really bad. The Raiders, they got beaten pretty badly. I mean, don't look at the score. The score doesn't really tell the whole story in that game. But yeah, I mean, the Raiders, they're a really bad team. The Eagles are, to be completely honest, they're playing like a bad team right now, but the Raiders are more of a bad team. And I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Raiders won just because of how bad the Eagles have been playing. Because they did the same thing that they did. They did the same thing in 2023 where they kind of started off really well and they started to kind of lose their balance because they've lost 3 in a row. And they were 3 pretty bad losses too. And I do think they will win this one, to their credit, just because it's the Raiders, and the Raiders suck. But I think it's going to be one of the worst games of the week. I think the Eagles' offense is one of the most pathetic offenses all year, considering how much talent is on that roster. And, yeah, it's going to be ugly, but I still think the Eagles are going to win this game. All right, next up, we have the Packers taking on the Broncos. I have the Broncos winning this one 21-17. The Packers were able to knock off the Bears last week in an NFC North matchup. The Broncos, as I just mentioned, were able to beat the Raiders in an AFC West matchup. And honestly, this could be game of the week. I mean, this is going to be a really good game. I could see it going either way. And I'm just going with the Broncos just because they're at home. They've won 10 in a row. And I think our defense can make Jordan Love struggle a little bit because Jordan Love's honestly been balling these last few weeks. But I think our defense is really good. Actually, I know our defense is really good. And I think we're going to be able to give Jordan Love some issues. And we'll see how they can respond to Nick Bonito and PS2 and the rest of our defense. And yeah, I'm going to take the Broncos to win this and clinch a playoff berth. All right, next up we have a really good game between the Lions and the Rams. I have the Rams winning this one 28-27. The Lions were able to take care of business against the Cowboys. Their offense looked really good on Thursday Night Football, and the Rams offense also looked really good against the Cardinals. And the Rams can also clinch a playoff berth here if they win this game. And I mean, this is honestly just cinema. You've got Jared Goff on the Lions, they've got Stafford on the Rams. They obviously played on the other team that they're playing against, so it's always a movie when these teams play. And it could honestly go either way, but I'm just going to go with the Rams because they're at home. They've been playing more consistent football lately, and the record is better. I think their roster is better. And yeah, we'll see what happens, but I'm going with the Rams in this one. All right, another NFC South matchup. It's the Panthers and the Saints. I have the Panthers winning this one 23-10. The Saints were able to shockingly beat the Bucs last week, and the Panthers had a bye week last week. And maybe during that bye week, the Panthers learn how to play some more consistent football, because there's this pattern with the Panthers that's so weird. They'll win a game, then they'll lose a game. They'll win a game, they'll lose a game. You know, you get the gist. And they just, literally the last game they played, it was against the Rams, and they won, which is absolutely insane, because the Rams are one of the best teams in the NFL, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to pick the Panthers just because I'm not going to pick the Saints. I mean, credit to the Saints for beating the Bucs last week, but I think the Panthers are going to beat them. I don't think they're going to let the Saints sweep them, because the Saints did beat them earlier. I think the Panthers are going to get their revenge and move to 8-6. All right, next up we have the Titans taking on the 49ers. The 49ers, I have them winning 33-14. The Titans, they got their second win of the season, and that was honestly probably the best game they played all year. The 49ers had a bye week, and, you know, Titans fans, you guys have definitely been through a lot this year, so it was good to see you guys finally look good in a game, and it was against a really good defense, too, so that's pretty good. But, I mean, you guys aren't really standing a chance against the 49ers. The 49ers are fighting for a playoff spot that they will most likely get. Their roster is still very talented. They're injured, but they're still way more talented than the Titans. I think their coaching is better. I think just about everything on their team is better, so they're kind of just behind the 8 ball here. So, yeah, I have to go with the 49ers here. All right, next up we have the Colts taking on the Seahawks. I have the Seahawks winning this one 27-17. The Colts, they lost to the Jags and they lost to Daniel Jones. The curse wheel just hates them. The Seahawks were able to blow out the Falcons, as I wasn't very shocked by that. And the Colts actually signed Phillip Rivers, and he's expected to start in this game. And believe it or not, Phillip Rivers, this has to be some kind of record. But if Phillip Rivers does play, I think he'll be the first NFL player to play as a grandpa, because he actually has a grandchild, because he has like 9 kids. He might have more than that now. One of his kids has a kid, so that obviously makes him a grandpa. So we'll see how Grandpa Rivers does against the Seahawks, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win. I think he could maybe be okay, but I mean, I think the Seahawks defense is going to overwhelm him. I think it's been too long. I think he should have just never came out of retirement, but, you know, we'll see how he plays. But, yeah, I'm going to just pick the Seahawks here. All right, next up, we got the Vikings taking on the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I have the Cowboys winning this one 33-26. Last week, the Vikings were able to put up 31 points and give up 0 points, and the Cowboys put up 30 and gave up 44 points. So both these teams definitely didn't have trouble scoring points last week. Just the Cowboys had trouble stopping the other team from scoring a lot of points, which is to be expected. The Cowboys defense isn't very good. And the reason I think this game's going to be close, because I actually do think the Cowboys are better than the Vikings by a significant margin. But the Cowboys just don't have a good defense. And if you don't have a good defense, it's going to let a lot of teams that probably shouldn't hang around, hang around. And I think that's going to happen here. And I think it's going to be competitive, but I still think the Cowboys are going to come out on top and drop the Vikings down to 5 and J.J. McCarthy. And ending the week, we got the Dolphins taking on the Steelers. The Dolphins, I actually have them winning this game 17-13. The Dolphins are able to take care of business against the Jets pretty handedly, and the Steelers, it wasn't handedly, but they did beat their division rival Ravens, so I guess you got to give them some credit for that. And yeah, I mentioned this before, but the curse wheel on Brandon Perna's That's Good Sports channel, Curse the Steelers. And yeah, that's kind of a thing that I do here because it's been insanely accurate this year, so I can't pick against it. That might be a dumb reason. If you think it's a dumb reason, I really don't blame you, but I think there's some logic behind it too, some like real NFL logic behind it too, just because the Dolphins, you know, they're winning ugly, but they've won, I believe, 4 in a row. So gotta give them credit where credit's due. The Steelers, they've actually lost a lot of games. They did win last week, but they've been skidding a little bit. So honestly, I think the curse wheel, I think they picked a good team to curse just because the Steelers, they're not looking too good. And the Dolphins, they're not looking good either, but at least they're winning games. So I'm picking the Dolphins. We'll see if the curse wheel's right this week. I personally think it will be. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's all the scores here. And once again, I apologize if my voice isn't up to speed with what I'm usually at, just because, you know, allergies are kind of kicking my ass right now. So that's not the greatest. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.